Hey, I'm Tom. Welcome back to Rich Tuesday. Lately, I've been almost obsessed with the calendar because I'm close to retirement now. I'm close enough that the finish line is visible, but not close enough to actually be there. And the distance between those two things, it is painful. Right now it's March, and I'm counting the months in my head, 10 left. August is the first big milestone. That's when my retirement account fully vests. After that, the money I've earned, it's finally mine. And then January, that's the final marker. That's when the year-end money lands in my 401k. After that, the plan is simple. I'm done. But the strange thing about this last year at work, it doesn't feel like just a year. It feels like something else entirely. The truth is, this last year didn't start this year. It started 4 years ago when I came back into the tech industry. At the time, I didn't expect to stay this long, maybe a year, maybe two, just long enough to stabilize things financially and then move on. But once I started looking closely at the numbers, really looking at them, it became clear that a little more time would make a big difference. At first, the goal was pretty simple. I wanted to add $100,000 to my savings. That would strengthen the retirement plan. But then I got there and I thought, well, maybe I should shoot for a little more. And the longer I stayed, the more that company 401k match, it started to matter. And then, of course, vesting for that match, that started to matter. Eventually, that money, it started to feel like handcuffs. There was just enough at stake that leaving before vesting, it just felt crazy. So every year started to feel like maybe the last year, but then another year would begin. This one, however, this one I'm in now, really is the final stretch. The money is just going to have to be enough. It's funny, when you're in the middle of a career, you don't think about time all that much. Years pass, projects come and go, but when the end is in sight like it is for me, time, it feels very different. You notice every month, sometimes every week. Last year, I started counting months, 15, 14, 12. Now it's 10. And the math, of course, it's obvious. Stay this year, collect the money, secure the future. Simple. It's simple on paper, but emotionally, it's not quite that simple at all. What I didn't expect was how much my feelings about this would swing from day to day. Some days are pretty easy. Like when work is moving fast, there's no time to think about life or time or the future. Those days, they pass pretty quick. But those slow days, they're different. On slow days, my mind wanders. And that's when the calendar starts to feel really heavy. 5 months to August, 10 months to January. The time starts to feel oppressive, really oppressive. And I'll think to myself, August is still 5 months away. How am I going to do this for that long? And then the next day comes and everything feels a little more manageable again. It's really a strange emotional roller coaster. One day it feels like no big deal. The next day it feels enormous. When you know you're leaving, your relationship with work, it changes. For most of my career, I felt responsible for everything, every project, every problem, every outcome. But when you know the end is coming, you just get a different perspective. If something gets pushed to next year, all of a sudden, it's going to be someone else's problem. That's a quiet reminder in the back of my mind that I don't have to carry this forever. For the first time in a long time, my image at work, it doesn't really matter like it used to. Politics and guarding my reputation, that part of the game is over. I have to remind myself sometimes of this, actually, because it's hard to let that stuff go. It feels strange and unfamiliar after protecting my image for so long. But ultimately, it's a beautiful thing. It's freeing. These last few years of work, they've been hard in general. Not so much because of the work itself. I've done the job for a long time. The meetings, the projects, the constant stream of problems to solve. None of that is new. What is new is that some days I kind of feel worn out. There are mornings when I wake up tired, days when my energy is lower than it used to be. Days when the smartest thing I could probably do would be just slow down, stay home and rest. But that's not really how this thing works. You just show up, you perform, you keep the same pace as everyone else. And for most of my career, I accepted that as part of the deal. But in this last year, it now feels kind of wrong and unreasonable in a brand new way. On those days, the whole year just feels heavier than it should. So what keeps me going? Mostly, it's the reason I stayed in the first place, the money, but not in the usual sense that you may be thinking. I'm not chasing a bigger lifestyle. At this point, it's something a little more subtle. Every extra day I stay, it makes my family just a little bit safer. Safer from catastrophe. Safer from the kinds of hard moments every family eventually faces. This money isn't a scoreboard, it's options. Options for my future self. Options for my family. The ability to step in when something goes wrong. To absorb the kind of shocks that life throws at every family. Every extra day of work, it strengthens that ability just a little bit more. And on the harder days, that thought really helps. It pushes me through. But there's another challenge I want to talk about. This one's kind of a dangerous one. It's very easy to start living like life is on hold. Like my real life, it starts next year when the job ends, when my freedom begins. But I can't afford to waste a whole year, not at 61. I can't spend 12 months just watching the clock and not living. So I've been trying to resist that, trying to make sure this year still feels like a real year. Moving to a new place recently, that helped. Starting this YouTube channel helped. Really anything that makes you feel alive, it helps. Because if I'm not careful, this year could quietly disappear into a waiting room. And that would be a mistake, a huge mistake. There's a strange truth about the final year before retirement that nobody really talks about. Nothing really changes, and yet, of course, everything changes. You're still doing the same job, still showing up for the same meetings, answering the emails, but internally, something has shifted. You know the end of this chapter is coming, and suddenly time itself, it feels completely different. It feels heavier, more visible, and definitely more valuable. Which might be exactly why the idea of a Rich Tuesday has been on my mind lately. Not rich in the financial sense, but rich in ordinary life. A Tuesday that isn't rushed, that isn't squeezed between meetings. Just a simple day that belongs to you. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting closer. 10 months left and counting. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. There's more coming, and I'd love to see you there. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.